So, as a quiet professional, you don't really need to do much different than you did in the office and you need to do when you're trying to build your business online. And the thing is, that there's a quiet way to build influence online. And you got to realize that you're not bad at content, you're just using the wrong model. You already know that you should have a presence online, right? We all need extra revenue streams. Well, you've known it for a while. I know you have. You've been thinking about it, and someone's actually told you to build a personal brand, grow the audience, get your name out there. Same old crap that you always heard in the office about getting yourself out there. And every time you sit down to actually do it, something in you just continues to pull you back, right? Because when you picture building a presence online, what you're actually picturing is performing, the high energy, the talking to the camera voice, the hooks that feel like shouting, the relentless posting. My gosh, if you only knew that you don't need to do that stuff. You just got to be yourself. I keep telling you guys, you be you, because you don't have to be the person who's always on, because that's not you. It's never going to be you. So what happens? You close the laptop and you tell yourself, well, you'll just figure it out later. Maybe when you have more time, maybe when you feel more ready. But then what? You never get started. You're not making any extra money. You have no revenue streams that are helping you get ready for your whatever, your vacation or your retirement or whatever else that you need to get that extra revenue for. What happens if you get laid off? You have nothing on the side to help you get through it, because guess what? The company you work for, you're just a number. You're just an asset. You're not really a person to them, and you've got to realize that. So you go online and you watch people who know less than you do, who are less careful, less experienced, less right. They build an audience just by being loud and constant. And a quiet voice in the back of your head says the thing you're afraid is true. Maybe this whole online thing is just isn't built for people like me. And I want to challenge that directly, not with a pep talk, but with a correction. Listen, you're not bad at building an audience. You've been handed the wrong model for it. Just like I said earlier, the performing model, the loud, always on, personality first model is one way to build online influence, but it's not the only way. And it happens to be the way that plays to every strength that you don't have, and none of the ones that you do. But there is another way. It's quieter, it's slower at the start, and far more durable in the end. And it's built on exactly the things you're already good at. And that's what today is about. Welcome to the Drew Chaz Podcast, a podcast built for introverts with big goals and busy minds. I'm your host, Drew, and around here, we don't silence our thoughts. We sharpen them. Every week, I give you the mindset frameworks, clarity formulas, and quiet power strategies that help deep thinkers move forward without pretending to be louder, bolder, or more extroverted than they really are. If you're ready to turn overthinking into clarity, turn hesitation into action, and build success your way, you're in the right place. So let's get into it. No matter what anybody says, if anyone's negative about your personality or who you are, they're probably extroverted and they don't get it. They have no clue. So let's get into it today and let's learn something and let's get you started on building your online business. So welcome to the Drew Chaz Podcast. I'm Drew, and this is episode 21, and it starts a whole new chapter. For the last 8 episodes, we've built a quiet authority system for the one place you spend most of your professional life, and that's in the room, at the office, in the meeting room. How to get promoted without getting loud, how to speak up, how to reclaim your point when you're cut off, how to fix the review, ask for the raise, protect the energy, all of it about being seen and valued where you already are. Now we're going to take that same authority somewhere even bigger, somewhere broader, and somewhere where you're going to thrive and you're going to shine. Because here's what's true, and what almost nobody tells the quiet professional is that the exact strengths that make you good at the office or in the room or wherever you are at your 9 to 5, the depth, the thinking before speaking, the follow through, the being right more often than you're loud, those are the strengths that build the most durable authority online. Not despite being an introvert, but because of it. Online influence for a business minded introvert is not a performance problem, it's a translation problem. You already have the authority. The only question is whether you'll let it be seen by more than the 12 people in the meeting. Well, today I'm going to give you the quiet influence system. It's a 4-part approach to building real authority online without performing, without hustling, and without becoming someone that you're not. And what you're going to walk away with after this episode is why introverts actually have the advantage online. Once you strip away the performing model that's been sold to you, this is the reframe that removes the dread. Secondly, the quiet influence system itself. It's 4 parts that let you build a genuine audience on depth and consistency instead of energy and volume. And then third, a way of creating content that feels less like broadcasting to a crowd and more like just explaining to one person you respect. If the fear of being on has stopped you, this is the part that unlocks it. And fourth, a direct answer to the 3 fears that keep quiet experts silent online. I have nothing new to say. I'll look like I'm bragging, and no one's going to care because those fears aren't true, and I'll show you exactly why. I totally get those feelings because that was me. It took me 2 years from when I got my LLC to start my online business to where I actually just got online and started doing my thing. I had every question in my mind. I had every reason why I shouldn't. And what happened? I didn't do anything. I just stopped. And then I'd come to it and then I'd stop again. So you're not alone. I get it. I've been there. Not that I'm the almighty expert in all of this, but I know some of you definitely are. And you have a chance and you have the ability and you have everything it takes just by being yourself. Let me tell you why introverts have the advantage online. And I want to start here because it changes everything that comes after. The performing model of online content is loud, fast, and personality first. It rewards a person who can turn it on, hold attention with energy, and post consistently without running dry. And when that's the model in your head, of course you're going to feel unqualified because that's not you. You're measuring yourself against a game built for a different nervous system. And that's the same mistake we talked about with energy in our last episode. It's no different. But look at what it actually builds authority online over time. Not a single viral moment, not the loudest week. What builds authority is being consistently worth listening to. Depth, a point of view that holds up. The same useful, clarifying thing showing up again and again until people start to trust that when you say something, it's worth catching. And I really want you guys to catch all of this. That's what I'm doing this for. I have my career. I've got my retirement set. I'm doing everything now to teach my fellow introverted friends, my fellow quiet professionals, that it's not just about working in the office. You have everything you need to be able to take it out, to be able to build those 7 revenue streams. And that's what my goal is, to teach all of you guys how to do this in a quiet way, without changing who you are, without you having to be extroverted, without you trying to be that person that's loud all the time. But I'll bet you anything, those people you're watching are introverts just like you. There's so many influencers, so many content creators that are introverts, but thrive online because it's built for us. That's why I'm so excited about it. And I hope you listen up and I hope you take it to the next step because it is worth catching. And This is an introvert's home field. Think about it. You think before you speak. Online, that becomes writing that's actually considered instead of reactive. You'd rather go deep on one thing than skim 10 online. That becomes a clear lane you become known for. You find performing exhausting, but explaining natural. Well, online, the whole game is explaining, and the internet is asynchronous. You don't have to be quick on your feet in a fast room. You get to do the thing introverts do best. And what is that? Take your time, get it right, then share it. The loud creators have an advantage in the first 10 seconds. You have the advantage over 10 months. And online, 10 months is what compounds. The feed forgets the loud post by Thursday. Think about it. You go on any of the social media outlets, there's a couple of them that aren't like this, but you go out there, 2 minutes later, it's gone. You spend a whole freaking week building a video. It's there for 2 minutes. You got 10 people viewing it, and then it's gone. No, got to be smarter than that. Okay, we got to build some things that are out there for months and even years. But it seems like it keeps rewarding the person who's still there, still useful a year later. Look, you were never bad at this. You were just handed a stopwatch when the real game is a marathon. Well, let's talk about the quiet influence system. The quiet influence system has 4 parts: publish, don't perform, the signature lane, the one reader rule, and the steady reps engine. Pretty creative, huh? Well, together they let you build authority online the same way you build it in the room, one steady, credible rep at a time. Well, let's go to part 1. It's publish, don't perform. And this is the mindset shift the whole system rests on. So I want to be precise about it, because performing is being on, projecting energy, holding a crowd, making it a show. Publishing is something completely different. Publishing is taking a piece of your thinking and making it available. That's it. You're not performing your expertise, you're publishing it. A performer asks, how do I hold their attention? But a publisher, they ask, what do I actually know that would help someone? And you're built to be a publisher. You've been publishing your whole career. In the memo that changed the decision, and the analysis nobody else thought to run, in the thing you explained to a colleague that finally made it click for him. Online is just publishing that same thinking to more than one person at a time. So take performing off the doggone table. Just take it off completely, because you're never going to perform. You're going to publish. The format can be plain written words, a simple talk to the camera like you'd explain it to a coworker, a short voice note of a real idea. Plain and true beats published and empty every time online, because people are starving for someone who actually knows something and they're willing to say it. So part 2, that's called the signature lane. Well, authority isn't built by talking about everything. It's built by becoming known for one thing. The performing model tempts you to chase whatever's trending, post about everything, be everywhere. That's exhausting and it's forgettable. We tend to actually start following people and see how they've done it. But you know what? They do it their way and it works for them. But we have this thing in us that's special and built exclusively for being online. So we got to do it our way. You got to do it your way. Like I say, you be you. That's the way to do it. Just pick another lane, the thing you're genuinely deep in, the thing you talk about, even if no one paid you, and go there over and over and over. For you listening to this, that lane might be quiet leadership, getting paid what you're worth, making analytical minds effective in loud rooms. Well, whatever it is, narrow is the point. When you talk about one thing consistently, something happens in your audience's mind. You stop being a person who posts and start being the person who talks about that. And that's authority. It's just repetition of a topic, held long enough that your name and the topic just kind of fuse together. The narrower the lane, the faster the authority. You're not limiting yourself. You're becoming findable by people and increasingly by the AI tools that people now ask for answers. Depth in one lane is exactly what gets quoted, cited, and remembered. Well, part three is the one reader rule. Here's the part that dissolves the fear of the audience. Most of the dread of posting comes from picturing the crowd, the faceless audience, all watching, all judging. That picture is what makes you freeze. So just seriously, just throw that out because that doesn't even exist. I finally got to a point, it's like, so what? Who cares? If they don't like me, they can just go somewhere else. They don't have to listen. But you know what? There's 5 million other people out there that might be willing. Well, you're not writing to a crowd, you're just writing to that one person. And before you make anything, picture one specific person you're trying to help. A quieter version of that colleague, someone 3 years behind where you are now, that are stuck on exactly the thing you've already figured out. And then talk to that one person plainly, like you're across the table from them, not on a stage in front of 1,000. Let me tell you, this one shift changes everything about how it feels and how it lands. It kills the performing voice because you don't perform for that one person you respect. You just help them. You just talk to them. It makes the writing warm and clear instead of stiff. And here's the strange part. Content written to one person is what actually resonates with thousands because every one of those thousands is also a single person reading alone, wanting to feel like you're talking to them. You already know how to do this. It's the same thing you do when you explain something well to another coworker. And then you just watch it finally click. It's that published is your content. And then part four is the steady reps engine. The last part is what makes this last because a system you burn out of isn't a system. Everything we built last episode about protecting your energy, it applies right here. Online consistency doesn't come from motivation or from posting 5 times a day. It comes from a rhythm slow enough that you can hold it for a year without totally draining yourself. So build the smallest rhythm you can and build it so you can actually sustain it. One clear idea published in your lane to your one reader, then stretch each idea instead of always making new ones. The thing you wrote becomes a short talk, becomes 3 shorter posts, becomes a line in your newsletter. One idea, several shapes. And that's not repeating yourself. That's how people actually absorb an idea by meeting it more than once. And then you do the quietly radical thing that no one does. You keep going past the point where it feels like it's working because it won't feel like it's working for a while. The early reps are quiet, small numbers, little response. And this is exactly where the loud creators, ironically, they just can't survive and they quit. But you got to understand, it does take time. It does take maybe a year, 2 years. It could take 10 days. You never know. But you got to be realistic with yourself. Get those early reps. Those are the most important. The loud creators, they need that dopamine of the viral moment. But you don't. You've built for the long, steady rep. Do this for 6 months to a year, and the same thing happens online that happens in the room. People stop scrolling past and start waiting for what you say next. Steady always beats loud. It just takes longer to look obvious. But before we close, I want to name the 3 fears directly. There are 3 fears that keep quiet experts silent because they're the real thing standing between you and this, and every one of them is based on a misread. Okay, let's talk about the first fear. It's, I have nothing new to say. It's all been said. Here's the correction. Well, here's the correction. It has all been said. And it hasn't been said by you in your words, from your experience to your one reader who hasn't heard it yet. People don't follow you for brand new information. They follow you for a trusted voice on the information they already half know, your take, your framing, your example. Let me tell you something. When I started my career, you gotta realize this, and many people don't even think about it. There was no computers. We were running a business on paper. There was no spreadsheets. There was nothing like that. When they were running machines, it was all on cards. So you just morph, but you learn. I've learned from having no computer to being totally online and enjoying and loving the technology. And I work now for one of the Fortune 500 top tech companies in the world. But that's the beauty of it. You learn these things and you have something. And even if it's one thing that you know that's maybe half a year more than somebody else, you just go there and those people are going to learn from you. Well, the second fear is I'll look like I'm bragging, like I'm self promoting. Well, this is the one that keeps the most talented, quiet people the most invisible. So listen to me clearly. Sharing something useful is not bragging, it's service. When you publish a thing that helps your one reader, you're giving, not taking. The person who explains something clearly so someone else can use it is not showing off. They're being generous. You've had the generosity part backwards. Staying silent to avoid looking like a self promoter isn't humility. It's just your good stuff helping no one. And the third fear, let's talk about it. It's no one's going to care. No one's listening. Well, at the start, you're right. But it doesn't matter. The early reps aren't for the audience. It's for you. They're for the practice and for the handful of people who do find them and quietly file you away as someone worth watching. Every quiet authority you admire online started with an empty room. The difference between them and the people still waiting to feel ready is not talent. It's that they kept publishing to the empty room until it wasn't empty anymore. None of these fears are lies you tell yourself on purpose. They're just the performing model whispering that you're not built for this, but you are. You always were. Well, like always, I'm going to give you a quick win challenge. So this week, just publish one thing, just one, not a strategy, not a content calendar, just one small piece. Take something you already explained well to a colleague, something you know cold, something that made someone's face light up when it finally clicked, and just write it down for your own reader. Plain words, no performing, then put it somewhere public, one time. That's the whole challenge. One idea you already have published once to one person. Do that and you've already broken the thing that's been stopping you. Everything else is just reps from there. So let me pause here because this connects to something. Everything we've built across the whole show, getting seen in the room, getting paid, protecting your energy, and now taking your authority online, it's all part of one system. And I'm building that complete version of it, the part that goes deep on the online and the income side, into something called the Quiet Authority Accelerator. It's coming. If that's the direction you want to go, stay close. You'll hear about it here first. But in the meantime, the workplace, half of all of this is already built out and ready for you inside the Promotion Playbook Jumpstart. Every framework from the series with the templates and the exact language to put them to work. That's your next step if you want the system in one place. The Promotion Playbook Jumpstart at drewchaz.com/promotion-playbook-jumpstart is the place to go. And if you're newer here, start with a free quiet superpower quiz. People love this thing. Most introverts go there first. It's just 3 minutes and it shows you exactly how your quiet authority already moves. And that's at drewchaz.com/take-the-quiz. drewchaz.com/take-the-quiz. So let me bring all this home. You don't have to perform to be seen online. You never did. The loud, always on model isn't the price of admission. It's just one way in. And it's the way built for someone who isn't you. The other way is quieter, and it's built on exactly what you already are. So just publish instead of perform. Pick one lane and stay there. Stay in it. Write to one person, not a crowd, and keep the reps low enough to hold for a year. And don't stop. Trust me, that one person's going to turn to 2, then 3, and you're going to build your online presence from that point on. So do that, and the same thing that happens in the room happens on the internet. People stop scrolling past. They start waiting for what you have to say next. Not because you got louder, but because you were steady and useful and unmistakably yourself, long enough that the room finally learned your name. Your quiet strengths were never the thing holding you back from an audience. They're the most durable way to build them. So just remember, your analytical mind is not what's holding you back. It's your greatest asset when you know how to use it. So until next time, keep thinking deeply, keep moving forward, and most of all, you be you.